Should a Christian attend a gay wedding?
Yeah, sure, go along. It's a wedding. You'll have some fun. Oh, wait a second. What do you mean by Christian? The ones who are loving and inclusive and modern, or the ones like you who are Christo-fascist bigots and enjoy inflicting mental anguish and suffering on those who don't go along with your strict codes of biblical morality? Which Christians do you mean?
Wow. Now, that can create a lot of emotional responses.
Only if you're the type of person who gets all emotional over weddings in general, like if there's an open bar, or if it's held at a nudist colony, Only if you're the type of person who gets all emotional over weddings in general, like if it has an open bar, or if it's held at a nudist colony so you can tell who the best man is, or if you're a bigoted Christo-fascist who cries themselves to sleep every night because you know that gay people actually exist. Painful, isn't it? Hello everyone, and welcome to The Simple Skeptic. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hit that little bell that pops up. You'll be notified every time a new video comes out. Yeah, we're back with Ken Ham again because he keeps at it. We're going to take a look at his video on why Christians, or should Christians, attend a gay wedding. I'm not going to say he has any insights into that are worth anything, but it's good to find out what these people think so that we can fight back.
You know, I was once invited by a Christian group to give a presentation at the University of Central Oklahoma.
Yes.
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain.
Which, according to U.S. News and World Report, ranks 49th in education and health. So, unless a lot of those students there are coming from out of state, you either have the cream of the crop from that state, which is probably a small number, or the numbers are padded with homeschooled, Bible-belt Jesus freaks.
But then I found out I was banned from coming to give that presentation because the LGBTQ group opposed me and said that I gave hate speech. And the reason they said that I gave hate speech is because I believe that marriage was between a man and a woman only.
I'm not going to pretend to speak for that community, but between a man and a woman only, if that's the extent of the phrase, I doubt that was enough for them to call it hate speech. It was more likely your repeated attempts to insert your Christo-fascist ideas into mainstream education, government, and the legal system. That goes beyond freedom of speech. That would be called hate speech if you're going to start applying it to everyone else. A simple phrase like between a man and a woman only, I'm not offended by it. That's your belief. Go ahead. I don't really care. As I said, I'm not going to speak for the LGBTQ2 community, but I can't see where that would really upset them that much. But they know what your agenda is, and they know what's behind that phrase when you say it. That makes it hate speech.
Anyway, all sorts of things happened as a result, and I eventually got invited back to give a public presentation at the university. And when I did that, the LGBTQ group actually came to the presentation and all sat there in the auditorium.
You almost sound surprised that people who are directly impacted by your dogma might show up to hear what you have to say. The people who could actually be harmed by your ideas. Unlike you, who would not be impacted at all by letting them live as they wish. Strange. You're surprised by that.
And what I explained to everyone was that, look, I'm a Christian. I build my thinking on the Bible. I start from the Bible.
You go further than building your truth on the Bible. You believe it is absolute truth, inerrant, no matter what science and humanity has discovered since it was written thousands of years ago.
And therefore, those that don't have the Bible as the foundation for their worldview, we're going to have a different worldview. We're going to clash in that worldview area.
Why clash? Why clash? Why not just leave your lifestyle among your members? Leave others alone. They don't want to clash. They also don't want to impose their beliefs on you. They just want to be left alone.
And so when it comes to marriage, I start from God's Word, and God's Word teaches that there's only two genders, male and female. Genesis 1:27, God made them male and female. And in Genesis 2:24, after God made man from dust and woman from his side, we read, therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and cleave unto his wife, and they'll be one flesh.
Oh, goody for you. I don't think anyone objects to your crowd living by that if they want to. But you want everyone to obey that idea. You want to legislate it. You want to subject people to discrimination and persecution if they don't. Your God makes your rules, but he doesn't make mine.
That, by the way, is the creation of marriage, and that's where marriage comes from. In other words, God created marriage.
God created marriage. That must come as a shock to all those other cultures around the world who have had their own marriage customs and traditions since, well, time immemorial, long before Christianity bulldozed its way into the public square all over the world. Many non-human animals go through rather complex mating rituals, and some mate for life. I don't think they have gods.
And I explained, if you don't start from the Bible to build your thinking, or you don't believe that Genesis 1 to 11 is literal history, then we're going to have a different worldview. And even though we have a different worldview and there's that clash, that doesn't mean that I hate you. Not at all. As a Christian, the Bible tells me to love everyone. And so we are to love everyone.
You have a strange way of showing it. Or, as many others have said before, there's no hate like Christian love. You think that by hating their lives, that you're showing them love because they'll eventually get tired of all the bullying, come around to your way of thinking. Just the way the kid in the schoolyard eventually loves giving up his lunch money just so that he avoids getting beaten. Yeah, wonderful. Now he goes on a long-winded rant, just rehashing everything he's already said, just in case we missed the whole "it's wrong, so we have to show you love by hating you" bit. Let's just skip that.
Now, if you're asked to attend a wedding and it's between two men or two women, it's a gay wedding, as a Christian, what should you do?
Well, personally, I try to find it if I have to wear a suit and tie, or worse, a tuxedo, and then try to think of an excuse to get out of it. And that's for people I like.
Well, you have to understand something. When you attend a wedding, you're there to affirm that union. You're there to give your seal of approval to that union. And you're there as a witness to that union to approve it.
Really? I thought I was going for cake.
And you know what? As a Christian, you can't do that.
Okay, since I'm not Christian, I'll go for the cake and a few drinks. Or maybe a lot of drinks. But I'm not dancing. No, I'm not dancing.
Because then you're approving something that is destructive to the family, and God makes it very, very clear in Romans 1, for instance, that such unions, that's sin when God turns them over to their sinful hearts to do those things that should not be done. And so as a Christian, you can't go and affirm such a union because it is unbiblical, it's destructive. It's against what God clearly teaches.
Well, let him send down a couple of heavenly cops to arrest me. And maybe they can make me see the error of my ways. But I'm still not dancing.
Now, does that mean you don't love those people? No, it doesn't mean that at all. Of course, you can love those people. You can treat them with dignity.
Yes, sorry, I don't want to seem undignified, but I can't approve of your marriage because you're a couple of perverts who hate God, so I'll just sit over here drinking and eating all the cake. But I'm not dancing.
And that's what happened at the University of Central Oklahoma. The LGBTQ movement was represented there in that auditorium. They totally opposed me, but I told them, I don't hate you. We have a different worldview because we have a different foundation, but I have to stand on my foundation, and I disagree with your worldview, and that is not hate speech.
Correct. It isn't. But when you want to deny them the right to live as they wish, based merely on your belief, that's hate. There's no two ways around it, buddy. Okay, enough of that. Let's take a look at another crazy, laughable, infuriating, or nonsensical post gleaned from creationists on the net. I'd like to end the video with something that'll give you a chuckle. So just sit back and enjoy, and have a nice day.